guys, so we have a bit of a happier, colorful video for you today. It's another collab with 4 other lovely ladies. We have Zane MUA, HayzStrawberry, NsomniaksDream, and LetzMakeup. We decided to do a mythical creatures theme, so please check all their videos out. I'll have all their links and social media info down below. I hope you guys enjoy my unicorn look, and let's get into the tutorial. So I'm starting out with my foundation as well as one of my eyes done, and for the base I used my Lorac POREfection foundation in the shade Light mixed with a little bit of a white cream makeup just to give me more of a pale look, and I have applied that all over my face and down onto my neck using the Sigma 3D HD Kabuki. I set that using the NYX HD finishing powder in translucent, and then primed my eyes with my Kat Von D primer, and along the bottom I used the NYX ProofIt. And then to start out my eyeshadow, I'm using Hot Fuchsia from NYX, followed by Allure from Sigma, and I didn't use that top pink one, so you can just kind of ignore that one. But I'm first pressing that Hot Fuchsia on with my finger to get the most out of that pigment, and then I'm building up the color using a brush. Then I'm just going to go ahead and blend out those edges, and also going to blend that along the bottom as well. And I'm just blending that in about halfway, and I'm also going to take that out past the outer corner, kind of towards the top of the ear. I'm then topping that off with Allure from Sigma, which is a really pretty lavender purple iridescent shade. And now to start defining the cut crease, I'm using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Peacock, and I'm just going to line that where I want to cut my crease. In this case, I want it just slightly above my natural crease so that you can still see that line a little bit when I have my eyes open, and I'm dragging that out, again, kind of toward the top of the ear. And then once I have that line defined, I'm just going and stippling and kind of smudging and blending that so it fades up toward the eyebrow a little bit. Then over top of the Jumbo Eye Pencil, I'm going in with the NYX Avant Pop Art Throb palette, and I'm going to be using this pretty blue shade as well as the 2 green shades that are in this palette. I'll be applying the blue shade to about the inner third and the outer third, and then the 2 green shades I'll be using right in the center. I'm starting out with the darker, kind of more blue-green shade in the center, and then I'm topping that off with the lime green. And I'm going to make sure that I have a nice fade between the blue and the green on both sides, and then also I'm blending that up toward the brow. I'm then taking a pretty vibrant purple shade, and I'm applying that to the outer corner and blending that up into my natural crease. I'm gently blending this about halfway onto the lid, as well as along the lower lash line and then out toward the ear. Now I'm going to start defining that cut crease a little bit more, and I'm first using a purple eyeliner pencil just kind of as a guide to mark where I want to define that line, and then I'm going to go in with my purple gel liner on a tiny angled brush, and I'm just going to line all the way across the bottom of that blue cut crease. And I'm not starting at the very inner part of that line, I'm leaving a little bit of space and then lining out and winging it out at the end, and then I'm going to kind of feather that in so it's really thin on that inner part. And also I'm doing a couple layers just to make it really opaque. And now I'm just going to give my lashes a quick curl. And before we move on to eyeliner, I'm using my NYX Porcelain Concealer on a small detail brush to help define a point at the end of our purple eyeshadow. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth between my concealer and the Allure shadow from Sigma until I have a nice point. I'm then tightening my eyes using a black eyeliner, and along the lower waterline I'm using a green liner. This one is Esmeralda from NYX. And then for my winged liner, I'm using the Glam liner from NYX in the shade Glam Black, and I'm first lining out for my outer corner to define what angle I want my wing to be going. Then I'm connecting that wing to my lash line and then completing the line and then thickening it to the desired thickness. I'm also taking this along the lower lash line in a super thin line a little bit over halfway across. I'm then taking a silvery gold glitter to the inner half of my lid. This one is Starcrushed Minerals Ice Cold Champagne, and I'm just very lightly applying that to the inner half of my lid and also taking that just a little bit underneath the eye. Then I'm applying a couple coats of black mascara to top and bottom lashes. For the brows, I'm using that same purple gel liner that we used to define the cut crease, and I'm going to start by defining the bottom part of that arch, and then at the end I'm giving it a little curve upward, and then I'm going to define the top part of that arch and continue filling in the rest of the brow. I'm then creating two really thin lines just on the inner part of the brow. I'm now applying a little bit of lash adhesive to about the outer half of the brow, and then once I've given that a second to dry and get a little bit more tacky, I'm applying another glitter. This one is Indigo Galaxy from Starcrushed Minerals, and I'm just taking that on the same angled brush I used for my brows, and I'm just stippling that on all over where we applied the glue. And then once I get about halfway on to the brow, I'm going to start stippling that toward the inner part of the brow just so that it fades a little bit more. I'm then going to use my concealer brush to clean up any stray glitters around the brow, and then I'm going to highlight underneath my brow with a white eyeshadow, and then once I've applied it, I'm using my Sigma E36 to blend out that edge. Then for lashes, I decided to go with the Faction lash, which is Alex Faction's collab with New Lashes, so check that out. And these are really nice and curved, so once I've gotten them trimmed down and applied my glue and it's nice and tacky and ready to go, I can just place that over and line it up, and then just place it down and then tighten up the ends. And this is our completed eye look. So now moving on to contour, I'm using the NYX HD blush in the shade Taupe, and I'm applying along my cheekbones, under my bottom lip, along my jawline and under my chin, and along the sides of the nose as well. And now we're going to highlight, and I'm using the NYX Illuminator in the shade Ritualistic, and this is a really nice highlighter for lighter skin. It doesn't have too much of a gold tone or a pink tone. I feel like it's a nice in between. I wanted to be super glowy and illuminated, so I'm pretty much applying this everywhere that we did not apply a contour, but be sure to blend everything nicely. I decided to pair this eye with Jeffree Star's Prom Night, which is a super hot pink. And I'm just applying this all over my lips. And that will complete the makeup. So now I'm going to show you guys quickly how I made my horn. I used Sculpey 3, which is an oven baked clay, and you can use whatever color or colors that you want to. This comes in a huge variety of colors, darks, lights, brights. Then you'll need a pointed wooden dowel or something that you can poke through the clay. You'll need some stretchy elastic. This one is 3/8 of an inch, which I used for my headband, but for the one I'm making for this, I'm using this thinner one. But you can use any color or style that you want to, just as long as the hole that's going through your clay is big enough to thread that through. Then I've got some 20 gauge gold wire, which I used for the little cage around the horn. And then you'll also need some glitter. You can use some craft glitter, or I used a little bit of cosmetic glitter on mine as well. And you could probably use a glitter spray paint as well, just make sure in a really well ventilated area. And then I'm also going to be using some hairspray. So here's mine, and you can see these little elastics I have on it because I glued my horn to the wire using hot glue, which does not work very well at all, but it did hold up until my last few pictures, so I just had to throw some elastics on there. And then I threaded my elastic strap through the wire for my headband. And then I made this little pink one out of the hot pink and baby pink as well, just to make sure that the hole going through would work with the elastic. So now to get started, go ahead and grab your Sculpey or other type of oven baked clay, and this one comes with a little indentations to mark out little blocks. So you're just going to want 2 blocks total. I'm going to use 2 different colors, and then I'm just going to start with my first color, warming it up in my hands and kind of squishing it, and then I'm going to roll it into a little sausage. And then once I have that nice little shape going, I am going to start rolling it out on my table, and I'm going to focus on rolling one side or one end more than the other because I want the bottom end to be fatter, and then as it moves up I want it to gradually go into a point so we can have that point at the top of the horn. So I'm just going to continue rolling that out and do the same thing with my other color. And what you really want to do is make sure that they both will have the same thickness, or else the horn's going to look a little bit uneven. So now I'm just going to gently press the thicker ends together so that they kind of stick, and then we're just going to start twisting. And you want to be sure that you're twisting each piece evenly, or else you will end up with one kind of more straight, like you see this light purple one here. So we have a longer piece at the end. So I'm just going to gently unravel the part that is not even and then twist it back up, and at the top just gently press those two together to make a point. And then I'm also just going to tighten my twist down at the bottom. And then we have our basic shape. Now I'm going to use a butter knife to just chop off that bottom end so that we have a nice flat bottom. And as I cut, I'm going to rotate this so that I don't smash the horn. You want to be really gentle with this part. Then I'm just going to use my knife to smooth it out, and then also tap it on my table just to really make sure that it is nice and flat. So now before we bake this, we want to put our hole through it, and we don't want to go in between the two different colors. We want to go through both colors evenly so that it stays together nicely. And you'll also want to make sure that you're not too close to the top, or else you will end up giving it a little bit of a round top, or you may end up poking through. Again, you want to be super gentle with this part so that you don't end up squishing your horn. And also remember here, if you wanted to use a fatter elastic, you want to make your hole a little bit bigger or wider so that you can feed that through after, and also make sure that you can see all the way through that hole. So now we're going to bake that for 15 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep in mind you may need to adjust the time depending on your oven or where you live. Okay, so fast forward, it's all nice and baked and completely cooled. I've decided on using the white iridescent glitter. So I'm just spraying it with a little bit of hairspray and then shaking on as much glitter as I want to, and I'm just going to do that all over. And then once that's dried a little bit, I'm going over the glitter with another coat of hairspray, and I'm just using this for a little bit of seal. This is not going to last forever, but it's what I used for mine. I believe they do make sealers for this kind of clay, or you could maybe even try to use like a Mod Podge. But yeah, this is what I had, so I just tried it and it got the job done for what I needed it to. So now I'm just taking my wire, and I've first measured it around so that I knew how wide I wanted the bottom to be, and then I'm just continuing to spiral that up, cutting off any excess, and then we've got this little springy looking thing. So then we're just going to slide that over the horn, adjusting the shape and tightening it as we need to. And side note, if you used the hairspray like I did, you'll want to wait until after doing this wire part and the threading through of the elastic to do the glitter so that you don't lose too much glitter. And as luck would have it, for this one that I made for the video, my hole ended up being too small to fit my elastic through, so I had to switch back to the little pink one because I knew that it would fit through this one. So I'm just twisting up my elastic and pushing it through, and then once it gets through, I'm pulling that and making sure that each side is even in length. And also I forgot to mention that you'll want to cut your elastic so that it will fit properly around your head. And then since this horn is a little bit smaller than the one I had made, I'm just adjusting that a little bit so that will fit tightly around the bottom. And since it is tight around the bottom, it should stay in place. If not, the elastic should help keep it in place. Alright, so now I'm just going to put my horn on, and I'm doing this before my wig cap. But if you're wearing this without a wig, you can just wear it like a normal headband underneath your hair. And this wig that I'm wearing today is another one from Amazon. I will link it below for you guys if you're interested. It comes in several different colors, and you can also get the free 2-day shipping if you have Prime. Alright guys, so that completes this look. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's a little bit different than what I usually post, but I hope that you enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out the other ladies' videos. All their info is down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.